People, Deluded, I'm back again. I'm sure, like myself, Arsenal fans, January, obviously we're in January now, and on one hand, Arteta is saying we're working on transfers, and I believe the club is trying to work something, whatever that is something. But on the other hand, media outlets are just simply saying, you know, Arsenal, if they're bringing people in, it's on loan. Some are more pessimistic and saying nobody's coming in at all, which you don't really want to hear, really and truly. So fingers crossed a centre-half comes in, or we've been linked with Samore literally today, people. Today being Monday at the time of making this video, I'm bugging out. It's Tuesday, people. Tuesday the 7th of January, 8:21. So yeah, people, obviously I'd love that to be done, but apparently Arsenal are working on shifting as many as 12 players in January. The majority, of course, the majority of whom are youngsters, as they look to expose their academy starlets to more first team football, with technical director Edu in charge of all loan moves. So that'll be decent. I mean, they need to. You look at they need to. Minutes. I always tell you, minutes are currency. 12 players, obviously, that doesn't mean 12 young players. Definitely, I know prior to Arteta, certain people would have said, and me included, more than 12 first team players could have kept it moving. If I was to guess them 12 players, I'd like to think in terms of, does it include players that are technically on loan? Because I don't know, but I'd like to guess the futures of El Nene and Mustafi. El Nene and Mkhitaryan, the players on loan that are not part of the first team plans, at least based on them being out on loan. Arteta might use them, sorting them out permanently or trying to move them on, because you've heard Mkhitaryan bid from Roma of 10 odd million has been rejected by Arsenal, so you'd like to think them too. Mustafi, obviously, I don't know if he's back in favour full time with Arteta, but he's someone you're hearing wants to review his situation and has allegedly got new agents, so that would be another one. For homegrown purposes, we probably need to keep him or should keep him in general. But Matt Macy, I don't know, because has he been on the bench? Forgive me if I'm wrong. He weren't on the bench against Leeds? I'm sure it was Leno, so he's not even been on the bench. Martinez is firmly second choice keeper. I know he signed a new deal recently. What was it, last season? And I'm not saying him, but surely his situation be reviewed. Who else at first team level would want to keep it moving, people? Again, Xhaka looks to stay, but I don't think Xhaka is leaving, but again, I'm just going to throw him in. I'm not even going to throw him in, I'm just going to say, because we heard previous reports and stuff, and maybe that will be revised. There could be that. I've evidently lost count now, people. Young players, Eddie Nketiah, I mean, ding, 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 see his situation. Emil Smith-Rowe should surely head out on loan if I think reports actually said that he should, if he's not going to get chances, because minutes are currency. He needs to go and get first team football consistently, and fingers crossed stay fit for the duration, because he had some injuries last season throughout the campaign, but he's making progress. And before Saka, he seemed to be the next one getting chances. I think he can be a good player, but injuries have kind of harmed him. He went to Leipzig when he wasn't fully fit, and it's not a coincidence he barely played, if that, for them. He's had some injuries this season which have harmed and stalled his progress, and we need him to stay fully fit and go and get games. And with Ozil back into the side, I don't know how Arteta sees Ceballos, and it seems like Joe Willock is seen as, I'm not saying he's long-term seen as a 10, but he gets played in that 10 sort of role, so there's them sort of options clearly are ahead of Emil. Saying that, you've seen Emil start against, he started against Everton technically, but you've seen him play games, so he might stay, but I think he's one to head out on loan. Daniel Ballard, I don't know if he's technically still fit, if he's back fit, but he had a mad injury which stopped his loan spell at Swindon. Surely if he's fit, he'll head back on loan. I've seen today that Ben Shafe's loan spell at Doncaster, because it's been productive, has been extended. I believe, obviously, I assume, I haven't read the report, but to the end of the season. Zach Medley, prevented on going on loan by Bold because he wanted to use him for the campaign. He's someone that needs to go out and get first team football. So there's that. Wild cards, you could say Balogun, you could say Tyrese John-Jules. I think that's a next season thing, if anything, but you never know. Harry Clark's been quite decent at centre-half, so he's probably someone that could, and he signed a new deal, potentially go out on loan, play senior football, something he's spoken about in matchday programmes. Almost forgot, but Mavropanos surely is one to head out on loan, saying that if with our centre-half situation, if we fail to bring one in, and Mustafi goes, for example, Mavropanos, would potentially have to stay, or even irrespective of Mustafi, if there's the case for none of them to move anywhere, really, just in terms of bodies. So who knows? There'll probably be one or two twists and turns, and just because it says as many as 12, it just means assume that means just a case of 12 people to be moved on or situations to be resolved. People. Hopefully we get some first teamers moved out potentially on loan as well. I think Robbie Burton should look to go out on loan because he's been captain at 23's level. Central midfield, is he going to get opportunities in the first team this year, or can he go out on loan, go and playing somewhere where you're fighting week in week out for the 3 points? That could help really advance you as a central mid. And kind of, if you look at your peers and Oli Inca and them and they don't go on loan and you go on loan and you come back because you've been in that environment twice the player, you might get that looking in terms of Arteta's eyes. Obviously loans are not always positive, but some of these men are 19 touching 20 on odd and whatnot. Shouldn't be looking to be playing on the 23s. Obviously not everyone needs to move and everyone's situation is different, but especially from the defenders, I want to go and play against proper street smart centre-halves that I blink for a sec, I've lost them, I've conceded a goal. Not because I want to do that, it's because that is how defenders learn. Defenders learn, obviously you learn from confidence and working, but you never, a defender at under 23's level that's physically stronger than everyone, faster than everyone, he's going to be able to make mistakes and they're not going to be minimised. You're not going to see, he's not going to be able to learn from that. Where if he does that, he can be punished in the first team environment, he's going to think, raw, I'm not the level I thought I was, or I need to improve this, do you get it? And that's every year, that's what I would want to, if I was a footballer, wanted to, like they all do, want to level up every year. Like, if I'm these young players, I don't want to look back in August 2019 to August 2020, which some of them are. I ain't really played first team. I ain't really got a look in the first team training session. Cool, when a couple people man are injured, I get brought in. But the manager's not really bringing me in to involve me in the match days and whatnot. I don't really see a pathway. So why am I going to stay? Some players like the luxury for liking the luxury's sake. And this ain't I'm talking about football in general, people, not Arsenal with this. I'm rambling. But you've got to want to advance and level up, man. I want to look back in August like, rah, I got 20 plus games in the professional game now. I need to work on this, especially this in the summer. I'm going to do this, but I believe I should be playing senior football now. And the players that necessarily went out and done that are having productive things. You look at Daniel Marlin, could have stayed and coast at 23's level, or got gassed off the whole Arsenal. Sadly, he's injured, but PSV, Jeffrey Adelaide, Benassia from early, now he's at AC Milan. Do you see it? Bielik wanted to do that and whatnot. The certain players here staying, there's not a pathway for them at Arsenal now. There's not a pathway for them, so they should be looking to get experience, because you got to think if worse comes to worse, if you lot get released, yeah, you might get clubs and whatnot, but plenty of people might listen to you and turn you down because they say, has he got experience? How many professional games has he got? Nah, Dad, he ain't got the fight. Well, at least if you got some experience and someone can be like, League One, Championship, he played this and that. There's something I can work with, because they'll listen to you, because they'll listen and trial you and have some interest, because Arsenal's on your CV. Do you get it? Like, Arsenal's on your CV. But I'm shocked sometimes, not in Arsenal's case, but I see 21-year-olds people getting released from academies. Yeah, you was at these big teams, you was winning all these youth championships, but you get released and you're not able to find a club now, because people are looking at it like they're not on it. They can't believe that you've got any consistency. Because as sad as it is, again, people got to remember, young players especially, it's like life. You got to be given a chance to get experience, but managers' jobs are on the line. They might turn down playing that centre half because they ain't got experience. But if you've played a decent amount and the team you was on loan, I don't know, got promoted or fought relegation, they might think, yeah, he was at Arsenal and he's played this much games, but he's shown he can fight. I might throw him in, give him a 2-year deal, and then you play well, you get an extension. Football is the breadline. Everybody sees the Jadon Sanjos and them man there playing football and doing madness, and it's not a criticism of him. People don't see no disrespect, but the worst of academy players, because not everybody at Arsenal, Chelsea and these are going to make it, but some of them are not going to be playing professional football, people. It's no word of a lie. Some people are out of the game. Certain football's a lonely world, you know, people. Sometimes man ain't getting, not everybody is going to get trials and teams and whatnot. How many times you lot seen a man, he's putting his training videos on YouTube and that because he can't get a club? Football's cutthroat. And as stupid, as fickle as it is, it's about opinions, people. And there's thousands of ballers out there. So you might as well give yourself something to work with if something don't work with you at your current employers and whatnot as a young player. But I've started giving passionate rants about youth and whatnot. Clearly you can see youth football is a passion of mine. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. Before I go though, I'll reiterate, people, allegedly, it's unlikely, like I said in the previous video, it's unlikely Arsenal will make any permanent signings during the January window. Unless an opportunity presents itself that is too good to turn down, Samore of Lille. Apparently Atletico are ready to offload Thomas Lemar, but Arsenal are not an option for the French winger. That is reported by Ruben Nera and also Charles Watts, the guy who's always talking about Arsenal and bringing out decent articles about Arsenal and relevant topics. So there's that, people. So yeah, man, there's nothing else really to sit here and speak about and bore you with. So you've done your bit for the deluded rambling and whatnot. If you ain't had enough of me, obviously go and check out my other content, my links to all my descriptions. My links are all in the description in relation to the social media stuff, man. Deluded Gooner 04 and everything, apart from Snap, which is Gooner 04. On that note, though, thank you for watching and persisting with me and for always supporting my team. On that note, DG, I'm out.